Great Yogi Berra is fond of saying 90% of the game is mental, the other half is physical, or something to that effect. But just how much of sports is psychological? Super Smooth Tim Newman delves into that point in the WTMJ Spotlight.
With nearly all the champions crowned in the fall sports season, it's a good time to look at an aspect of athletics that is often talked about but rarely cultivated: sports psychology.
Lots of times the things holding back kids aren't physical barriers, they're psychological barriers, and they can manifest themselves in a lot of different ways.
Dr. Peder Piering is a sports psychologist working out of Milwaukee. Having dealt with professional athletes and Olympians, as well as high school boys and girls in the Milwaukee area, he says the most common mental hurdle for all of them is the fear of failure.
Athletes tend to focus on the end result, what place they come in, what their time is. That's where all the anxiety is. And this fear of failure really holds them back.
Growing up, kids are often taught how to throw a ball and swing a bat. Later on, players and coaches spend hours implementing strategies and fine-tuning skills on the field, all while almost entirely ignoring the mental side of improving performance. That's where someone like Dr. Piering comes in to help enhance an athlete's physical ability.
By focusing on the mental aspects of the game, they can really maximize their physical skills, their talent. People think, I don't need to see a sports psychologist. I'm not crazy. I'm not mentally weak. But that's not the case at all. What I like to call it is the psychology of excellence.
The cerebral facet of feeling pressure and anxiety affects elite athletes as well as high schoolers. But guys and gals in their teens often have other issues, such as a lack of motivation and the tendency to compare themselves to others.
What we really try to help athletes do is focus on their own performance. That's where they have control. Kids need to be pushed. If we don't push them, it's a form of neglect. If you push in a negative, abusive way, it's going to hold them back. It's something that we've referred to as positive pushing.
But even before high school competition, an athlete's mental state is being molded, especially by his or her parents. Dr. Piering believes that kids need to know they're loved unconditionally, no matter what happens on the field. That will allow them to feel comfortable testing their abilities. But that's only the beginning.
Parents need to allow their kids to take ownership of their activities, ownership of their successes, their failures, their feelings about things. Parents have a tendency to want to protect their kids from the negative aspects of anything in life. However, when they do lose, we have to allow them to feel the pain to a degree. They have to feel that hurt in order to grow from it.
In the end, no matter what level of competition, Dr. Piering says the focus should be on the process, not the outcome, as each athlete only has an influence on his or her actions, with the goal being to strive for excellence every single time. That means even in times of stress, there's a comfort in knowing you've done this 100 times before.
When it's a championship game, when things are really on the line, if those kids have been playing with that mentality all along, it's nothing new for them. So they tend to perform as well as they can.
That's a wrap for this week's edition of Preps Plus, the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel's high school sports show. Please be sure to join us again next week. We'll have all the highlights from the state championship games in Madison. Until then, I'm Gary Howard. Peace.
The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel's Preps Plus is brought to you